bringing you news, politics, and whatever else tickles my fancy. Welcome to the Ho Ho Show, and I'm your host, Ho Ho. Broadcasting live from the attic. You can check out my website, thehohoshow.com. You can follow me on Twitter. You can email me, hoho@thehohoshow.com. You can check out my YouTube channel and find me on Facebook. Telephone number, as always, 217-917-4405 if you want to call and be part of the show. A proud member of Weaponized Sloth Productions, so welcome to the Ho Ho Show. And as always, I am your host, Ho Ho. All right. It has been a pretty darn good week, actually. Except for this guy. I am joined in studio by none other than Ray.
Hello.
And he's been...
I promise it's not the Black Death.
He has been hacking up a lung recently. He's doing much better, though. Definitely happy to hear that.
I promise I'm not contagious. Sort of.
Mm.
Can I drink out of your glass again?
No.
Okay.
Okay. I am...
How are you?
Yes! All right, okay, maybe I should explain that. Yes! All right, so, apparently, all right, so I use, Restream, and they have a chat thing that, an app that links, and it's awesome because it links all of the your different locations that you stream to through the chats and whatnot through them, and it links it all in one place and just streamlines the whole thing, makes it so much easier to use. And apparently, periodically, it will log you out and make it to where you got to log back into it in order to use it. So, very awesome feature, except for whenever you forget your stinking password. So, whenever I was first going, that's one of the delays that I had before starting the streaming. I was trying to remember the password. I gave up, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's this. And then I just got done trying 3 or 4 more other ones, and then finally I found one that works. So, chat is working. I'm very excited about that. It's very awesome. So, all right. So we've got State of the Union news to talk about. We've got, some more released documents on the FISA report.
Yes.
FISA memos, actually. Trey Gowdy, news on him that I just found out about. But before I get to that, I've got some news relevant to, the Ho-Ho show and also relevant to Weaponized Sloth. So let's go ahead and start in on that. And so, by the way, welcome Spreaker, welcome Twitch, welcome YouTube, Facebooks, Periscope, and Mixer. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
How you doing? Nice to see you. Hello.
At least I'm not on like 5 different chat windows tonight with you.
1, 2, 3. Right. Butthole. Such a butthole. So yeah, weaponized or not with weaponized. We're going to start with the Ho-Ho show because it's my show and I'm selfish like that. So I have everything purchased, everything ready to put together for Skynet. So the computer, I've got all the components for it, every single last bit of it bought here. Just I can touch it, I can taste it, I can smell it, just I can lick it. Just amazing stuff. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing a test bench on it just to do some, test out some benchmarks, get the BIOS straightened up, and just make sure everything's going to work right and I don't have any faulty components or anything like that because that would suck.
Yeah.
So now really once I get that done, all I'm waiting on is the is for the tower to get finished. A good friend of mine's mom has that, and she's an amazing artist. I've seen some of the artwork that she's done. We're actually trying to get her talked into doing tattoos. And I'm like, I've got a lot of skin. I'm a fat kid. So, I've got a lot of skin. I do. It's just, there's a lot of skin on me. So, she can just have fun tattooing things and just, it'll be amazing. So I'm definitely excited about that. So yeah, she's doing etching on the glass because it's an all glass case, and she's going to be doing some designs on it and whatnot. The computer already has a name. Her name is Lucille. She has a nickname, Skynet. So she's just there.
She's ready to come alive.
She's just waiting to get put together and to become self-aware. That's what we're waiting on right now. So that's pretty awesome. I got a couple other things I'm wanting to do. I'm definitely wanting to upgrade my video capability, and talking with the guy today, it looks like I'm actually going to be able to do that a heck of a lot cheaper than what I thought I was going to be able to do. And, hey, cheap is good, especially if you get the quality out of it that you're wanting. Cheap is amazing. So I like that. That's awesome. I'm excited. Weaponized Sloth Productions. Let's get into that. So I was talking with the guy today. I talked to Mike today too. So, hey, Mr. Mike, sir. One of the things I forgot to tell you is, with Spreaker, they have, just an amazing program. Their Spreaker live show, if you, search for that on Spreaker, they have, that show, and they cover so many different topics, to help you, into getting into podcasting. So many different things in there. And I tell you what, it's a great tool that I have utilized myself. I've gotten other people involved in utilizing that too. And that was one of the things I forgot to mention to you today. So definitely go to them, check them out, even look into, Alex Exum with the Exum Experience. Awesome guy. His show is very well done. Great guy to listen to. The man's a little irate, just... It's so fun to listen to irate people. It really is. He does a really good show. So, definitely check him out, see what he's got, but definitely listen to the Spreaker live show hosted by Rob Greenlee. Great show to listen to. So many different pointers that he'll be able to teach you, and just a great tool to utilize. So definitely, look into that. So, but I was talking with a guy today, and we are going to be within the next 2 to 4 weeks getting a show together and getting a webisode done, and it's going to be entitled. You guys ready for this? The Roho and Ho Ho Show.
The Roho and Ho Ho Show.
Yes, his nickname, is from a kid is Roho, mine Ho Ho. It fit. I'm just like, yes, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be epic. So I mean, like right now we're ironing down the details. We're getting things figured out. We gotta, we still have a lot of work to do. It's in beta, so to speak. So, but I mean, like I'm definitely excited with it. And just getting this together, and I mean, that's just the possibilities on this. Just everything. The really cool thing is, with Roho, I've been wanting to talk to him for a while about, just if a show was something that he was interested in doing, and if so, what direction was he looking at going? And if it was something that getting into the Weaponized Sloth Productions groupage, wordage in there, English is a first language. I'm telling you,
Right.
it sucks, but so I've been wanting to talk to him for a while about it, and it was pretty cool, getting a text message from him. It's like, hey, stop by. I wanted to talk to you about something. And so, I mean, it was really cool just how it went from, an idea that I had, but really hadn't put it into place, to getting in contact with him. And, now we're looking at doing a show. So, I mean, it's amazing how that stuff just comes together, just organically. It was really, really cool. So, I'm definitely excited about that. Looking at products and
Still looking at mugs and things like that, right?
Oh yeah. Well, really, right now, and this is kind of one of them things. I'm kind of in a holding pattern as far as because we're wanting to get in touch with a company that allows companies to put a private label on their coffee, and that's what we're looking at doing. We want to be selling like our own label on different types of coffee, and make it, and sell it in packages with the coffee mugs and, different things like that. You can buy it by itself. You can buy it in with a package with a mug, just different things like that we're looking into. But really, until we get, things put together with the website, I don't really want to just pre-order a bunch of coffee.
Right.
And, so I'm kind of in a holding pattern on that. So, I mean, as soon as, and really by like either, I don't know if I might actually be able to get the website. I should be able to get up and going. Weaponized Sloth Productions website up and going within the next week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. So that's really what I'm looking to do with that. So yeah, I mean, just exciting stuff going on with that.
Still looking at a lot of possibilities out there with different.
Oh yeah,
a lot of stuff, still able to do. And
And I mean, I'm not wanting to go because I mean, like I've got everything I need as far as the computer aspect of it goes, and really with the video aspect of it goes, personally, I don't need anything extravagant, anything really big. I don't need to spend a whole heck of a lot on video equipment, lighting, different issue. But really, as far as, with the video aspect of it goes, I don't need to spend a whole lot because I'm not doing a whole lot with it. Now, with Weaponized Sloth Productions, a little bit of a different story, but, we've already got some stuff, that's pretty good equipment. I mean, we can always go bigger and better, but I mean, we've got enough to really get us going. So, I mean, on that aspect, don't really need anything more, so, and then with, getting a different interface that I can hook up more than 2 mics to. Other than that, I'm gold.
Cool.
I'm excited. So, I'm ready to go with this. This is awesome. Awesome. And man, have I spent a lot of money on it.
How much?
Oh, dude. A lot.
You don't want to figure that one out, do you?
Oh, I've already figured it out. And it was like, holy cow.
More than a nice cruise on a
no.
liner.
No. I can take 6 cruises with how much money I've spent on this studio. I'm not going to throw a dollar amount out there at you. But let's just say, with a small cruise, that would just basically be like a 4-day cruise, maybe. One person, just me, I can do 6 cruises.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can buy a motorcycle with how much money I've spent on this studio. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I'll just throw that out there. I've spent way more than I intended to, way more than I had to. But hey, it was fun. I'm like, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It's only money. Dead presidents. Who cares? Yeah, I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when we return, we're going to dive into the State of the Union address.
That was your phone.
That was my phone. Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, he, It's amazing how much money that gets invested in this. I got a text message. One of these days I'll learn to, really put my phone on silent, but, hey. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Put a little bit in, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then by the time you look back at it, you're like, oh, Lord, what did I do?
Yeah, what was I thinking? And it's just amazing how much I can use your name. Okay. But yeah, Mr. Roger Dyer, he is, oh, yes. Hey, thank you for that. Logitech C920. Yeah, I wasn't looking at the window at the time. I apologize. But yeah, and thank you for that, Logitech. He's the one that I was talking to about a camera, and this sucker is a heck of a lot cheaper than what I was originally looking at going to. But yeah, so just the things are just, I'm excited about the direction of things. I really am. It's good time.
In a short amount of time, when did you say you actually were up and running? After the bugs and stuff, was it about September?
Well, let's see. I'm looking at, okay, tomorrow will be the start, month 4 is what I'm looking at. No. Month 5. Tomorrow makes 5 months that I've been that I first started podcasting on Spreaker. Not very long that I've been doing the not very long that I've been doing the video and multicasting through the different streams, but but with Spreaker itself, it's been tomorrow will be 5 months, because I believe it was it was on the 4th of whatever month was like 5 months ago.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
That month, like August or something. I don't know. I have to. What month are we on now? 2? So 2. It was August. August 4th was. Trust me.
August is an 8.
It is an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, yeah.
So if you started in August,
you know what?
it'd be
We'll just say I started in February or March was whenever I was looking to do, getting into with, because you got to apply in order to get into iHeartRadio. And March was whenever I was looking to do that, because I was wanting to, just kind of clean up some things, get some additional things figured out, really get some more stuff under my belt, clean up the show a little bit. And, so I was wanting to give myself some time to do that before I really got into iHeartRadio. So March is whenever I'm looking to get into iHeartRadio. So,
but overall,
and I was doing that on the 6-month time.
It's been overall for this type of thing, it's been relatively a short amount of time.
Oh yeah,
all this has just been boom, 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 just unfolded.
Oh yeah, I'm a baby in this. I have, I'll be the first to admit I got no idea what I'm doing.
But it's quite an accomplishment in that short amount of time to see where you were when you started, and already just in that short amount of time where you're at right now.
Right. And Roger, I'm glad you actually mentioned that, because he mentioned that my oldest YouTube video says 3 months, and yes, but that's whenever I got the Ho Ho Show channel up and running. Before that, I mean, I've got quite a few different just podcasts and some of my first video streams through my personal channel, which is found at Jared Hohenstein, which I think, I don't know if you can actually like easily look that up. I mean, you should be able to, just type in my name in there and find me that way. I'll have to, I got to do a better job on linking that. Actually, yes, because if you go into my playlists through the Ho Ho Show channel, one of the playlists has, some of my earlier, some I have a playlist in there that has my older embedded YouTube or Spreaker player in that, and of which case it links to the other channel that I had. So that one is a good way to get into that. So yes.
A lot of technology involved.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing how quickly. I mean, now, granted, I mean, don't get me wrong. You can start this and get it up and running and do a simple, basic program and not spend hardly anything on it.
Right.
I mean, you really can, and don't get me wrong on that. I mean, really, like $40, and your cell phone, you got everything you need to have a very good sounding, quality, very professional sounding show for cheap.
Right.
And it really doesn't cost much.
Right. You were able to do much more than that, so you ran with it. And...
Yeah, I mean, I was blessed, to be able to expand it and just see where it led and see where it took me. So I mean,
Did you think in that short amount of time you'd be where you're at right now?
Well,
I mean, are you above your benchmark of where you wanted to be at this point?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I've got, maybe a dozen, people that really listen to me, what I guess they call in the business a loyal listener, so like I've got about a dozen of those, people that will pop in periodically and, either troll or, just look at the show and see what they think about it, just people back and forth and whatnot. And, it's like, I'm not, I mean, granted, I've got like, I think overall through every platform, within the past 5 months, like a couple thousand overall, views and listens, so that's a number that I'm like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think I'd actually hit that number in like a year, and I pretty well hit like the 1,000 mark, at like 2 months, maybe 3 months. But at the same time, though, I mean, don't get me wrong. That's an arbitrary number that really doesn't mean anything. For the simple fact is that's not, like the duration of your listen or the duration of your view. It doesn't mean anything.
Or you get those crazy people that are like, they'll view all 5 platforms and they're only one person. We won't go there.
Yeah, we won't talk about who's done that one.
Yeah,
this guy,
those people.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's a very arbitrary number that doesn't really mean anything. But yes, I mean, I didn't, Yes, hello, Mr. Gatton, host of the Machine Radio Show, has joined us on YouTube. Welcome, sir. But yeah, I mean, it's been a fun ride. I mean, it really has been. It's been very, very awesome, very fun. I've learned a lot in a short amount of time because I've listened to, a lot of different. You better not be who I think you are. Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'll have to answer that one later. But oh wow, okay, we have our first caller of the day. Let's go ahead and get him on, and. Dun, 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 dun. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today? Did that work?
I was welding the new plastic cabinet together, and I happened to remember that you were on tonight, and I heard you talking about your numbers.
The connection right now, I don't know if that's on your end or my end. I really have no idea. It's really, really, really bad. Go ahead and try calling me back if you would.
How about now?
Nope, still horrible. How about meow? Well, that's very, very possible. I apologize. Oh, no audio. Yeah, it's not coming over very good at all, actually. Yeah, go ahead and try Try calling me back. Yeah, I was actually hoping that it says that I have that on. Yeah, that was like very, very low quality on that. I don't know what the deal was on that. Let's try this again. All right, sir, are you there now?
Yeah, what about now?
Oh, wow, yeah, that still is very, very horrible. Yeah, that's horrible.
Gotta be you.
Yep, that's got to be me. All right, well, guys, I apologize about that. Apparently, the Skype is not working very well tonight, so call-ins, we're going to have to pass on that tonight. Yeah, that sucks. I hate it when that happens. You know what? It's probably
It's the government.
audio on Spreaker is really bad. Okay. Really? Says audio on Spreaker is really bad. Is anybody else having a yeah, no go on the call in? Is anybody else having an issue on the other platforms out there with it's choppy? Okay. It might just be my connection. I don't know. That's kind of weird. It's usually not all that bad on choppiness. I don't know.
If you go on break and look up on Spreaker's platform, will they tell you if they have technical difficulties or anything? Are they good about doing that?
You know what? I've actually not even tried that, to be honest with you. All right, let's try this call. I got somebody else calling in. All righty, sir. You are on the air. How are you doing today?
Oh, not bad. Is this any better?
No, it's not. It's got to be something wrong with my connection. My computer just might not be able to handle it today.
Okay. Well, it's real well. I was just doing it for diagnostic reasons.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, bad stream today. Evidently, things are just not quite going right. Maybe my computer is just having a fit. So I do apologize about that. The good news is though, I am recording everything on the device itself. So I'm hoping that, possibly if the stream is just something wrong with that, I can, have a better version that I can upload after the stream goes, and hopefully even something after I get done from the break that it'll
Now with
clean up.
Skynet becomes online. Will that help that?
Oh, heck yeah. That sucker's going to be so fast. It'll be like grease lightning. Just shoo, gone. There we go. I'm so weird. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. So, yeah, hopefully this will clean up here in a second. I'll see if I can change a couple things in the settings and maybe get this thing cleaned up a little bit. Let me actually, before I go, well, it's showing everything's all right on that. No, I don't know what the issue is. That's weird. I do apologize about that, guys, though. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we return, we're going to be talking a little bit about the, whatever it was I said I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
The thing.
Political stuff.
Yeah, you know what? State of the Union. That's what that word is that I was looking for. So, yeah, quick break. When I return, that stuff. So, oh, man. And let's see, what song am I going to do? Let's do that one. Yeah. Oh, got to move that. All right.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
I'm back.
Never forget that we're one nation under God. Then we will be a nation going under.
And we are back, still broadcasting live up here in the attic. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So, yeah, I didn't see anything wrong with the thing. Okay, so the overall show audio is okay, so that's awesome. Thank you very much for the feedback on that. Just the caller audio sucks. So I'm guessing right now just the computer's having a hard time pushing everything. So that's probably what the issue is. So I will be last time I did this, it worked perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was great. It worked. It was, like the audio volume wasn't the best, but
it worked pretty good that night that one guy called in. I remember that one.
Right, yeah. I mean, it worked.
We won't repeat that.
Yeah, we won't repeat what he said. Yeah, it worked fine that night. Of course it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good time. So, all right, we'll get into the State of the Union address now. Of course, I'm sure, by now everybody's heard, all the ins and outs of that.
Right.
And I tell you what, I watched the thing twice. I took notes on it, and I've got like little over 2 pages worth of notes on this thing, and just nothing real major that I'm going to touch base on. Just a couple, points that I'm wanting to make, here and there, and a little, a couple, things that I noticed that was going on in it that was just absolutely hilarious for me at any rate, so yeah, Spreaker is a bandwidth killer. Yes, it is. Yeah. So let's go ahead and chop right into this. So one of the things that, and this is a thing with mainstream media, so this first note I have on this, and, it's one of them things that with how mainstream media is right now, I mean, it's just, that is what has made it possible for, shows like this, right, and for podcasting and just web shows and whatnot. That is what has made all this possible. So, hey, CNN, MSNBC, all you guys, thank you guys. Because that's what's made this possible. Because that is what has been the rise, or that is one of the things that really caused the rise of alternative media. Yes, I definitely just need to finish Skynet and no more issues. But yeah, that's definitely one of the things that, it's what's caused all this. And it's one of them things that it's, I can't say as if I'm surprised on this, because the thing that I had heard and took note of was, he said that 2.4 million new jobs, within the last year, you're seeing a rising wages, unemployment hit a 45-year low, and the, blacks is at the lowest ever recorded with unemployment, the lowest recorded unemployment rate. And the Latinos are also doing very well as well. Yeah, words that go together and stuff like that. So, that's just a couple things in there as far as, the mainstream media aren't, they're not giving you that information. And it's a sad thing, because they are, first to give you anything bad or anything that they can spin negatively, but they're not telling you the good that he's doing, and that's one of the things that, that's one of the things that really, it's disheartening for me.
Right.
I mean, it really is. I mean, if people actually would give him a chance, or, I tell you what, this was funny one time that I had a conversation with a guy. I mean, he is, hardcore liberal, very much liberal. But, if you take the labels away from it, you just remove all the labels. And just have a conversation with the person. And that's what we were doing. We took the politics out of it to just have a conversation.
Glad it came out that side.
Right. That didn't taste too bad. It kind of tastes like Dr. Pepper. I'm like, it was weak. I could have done so much better. But, hey, we're on air. There are things wrong with me And yeah, so
that's why people tune into you.
I guess so. But one of them things that words. Yeah, you take the labels out and you just really sit down and talk with the person. ADD it's horrible. You really find out that you have a lot more in common than what you think you do if you just remove the labels. And that's one of the things that I didn't point that out to him because sometimes liberals don't like to hear that kind of thing. And not really a slam against liberals, and that's just one of them things that you hear people say that, if you are a conservative in your 20s, you have no heart. If you are a liberal in your 30s, you have no brain. So that's just one of the things that they like to throw out there. Like everybody's a liberal until tax day, and then it's like, oh, let's be a conservative. We got to keep all our money. But that's just some of them bumper sticker sayings or memes that people like to throw out there. But truth be told, if you really sit down and discuss somebody about how they think things should be and how they think things should run, with the exception of probably Antifa people, you really find out that once you take the labels away and once you get out of the whole conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, you get rid of that, you got a lot more common than what you think you do,
right.
So, if people would actually just kind of sit down and, get away from mainstream media maybe for a little while and just look at what he's actually done, and go into the sources of where they get their sources from, you might actually come to find out that you agree a lot with what the guy's doing.
Right.
That's
a problem like we've talked about before. People don't want to go beyond that surface and actually dig in and look and analyze what's really going on. They just like that tidbit of what CNN tells you or whoever, and that's as far as they take it. Oh, that person on CNN said this, okay, it must be true. No. Dig into it, research it, look at things.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, a lot of people don't do that.
Right. It's just a sad thing. And it's just, it's, back in my day, back in our day, back in most of y'all's day too.
Y'all's?
Uh-huh. We live, today we live in the information age. We literally have a computer in the palm of our hand. You can look up anything and everything, and it's easy. But one of the things that is lacking in that is people don't know how to, back in my day, if you had a question like, do penguins have knees? You had to go to the Encyclopedia Britannica and you had to look it up. Right. You had to do it the hard way. You had to talk to some people. There was, this search and discovery, and, there was joy in that, and there was pride in that, and you owned the information that you got, really? But yeah, but now with the internet, like, Mr. Gatton says, it's all there, Of course, he forgot the A in there, but it's all there. You don't have that quest for information anymore, But
what
in
you
doing
pointed
that,
out to me, you just pointed out something to me is, on the biblical side, even knowledge and understanding.
Right.
What you were just saying is there's a great deal of knowledge there, but the understanding
but a lack
is
of
lacking.
understanding. Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? And that is a good, a good analogy. Lack of better term, but yeah, that's a good analogy on it. There's all kinds of knowledge out there to be had, but very little understanding in what people are talking about. Because in order to get the understanding, you got to be able to dig deeper,
right?
And you can't be ashamed or afraid of what you're going to find out. It's just you can't be. Because if information does not change how you look at something, then you're a fool. I'm putting it bluntly, I'm putting it straightforward to you, but that's what it amounts to. If you find out, if you live your entire life thinking that the earth is flat, and then, next thing you know, you go up to, you go up to the space station and you're like, oh, that's a marble. Okay, now you have the information. Are you going to change your view? If so, great. If not, you're a fool. That's just the way it is.
Right.
So if facts don't change your mind, you're a fool. And unfortunately, that's just... there are some people out there on both sides of the aisle. But moving on from that, The next point that I put on there was, and this is one of the things that was totally awesome. You have the stock market, and it has grown over $8 trillion within a year. 401k and others, have just gone through the roof as far as, growing people's wealth. And that is just awesome and amazing to me. And one of them things that we're so early in the game. Okay, well, let's go ahead and continue with this. Because it talks about, just doing the biggest tax cut in history, nearly doubled standard deductions. The first $24,000 that you earn is free, doubled the child tax credit, other things in that nature. And so yeah, we'll stop there. But with those things right there, we're so early in the game right now that people are not seeing or feeling and seeing in their own pocketbook and seeing within their own, paychecks and pay stubs and seeing on their W-2s. They're not seeing that yet.
Right.
We're so new into this that people aren't really, with the exception of the investors, your individual person, I'm granted, I mean, people are seeing it in their 401ks, true. But on the whole, people aren't seeing it. And they're not really feeling that benefit yet. But, just wait till next year,
Right.
whenever people are actually able to, see their paychecks grow and see more money, less getting paid to the government on their W-2s and more coming back to them, through the tax credits and what else that what? What about the blue belly button lint issue?
Yeah.
One of them questions, like, how come you can wear an orange shirt and have blue navel lint at the end of the day? I have no idea.
Smurfs.
But that was not in Smurfs.
Smurfs.
But that was not in the Encyclopedia Britannica. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Anywho,
Did you see the article though about? It's not just one company, but the one that I remember the most of is Hostess. They're giving their employees like $1,000 bonus or something like that.
right.
I mean, and they're not the only one.
Oh yeah,
because
AT&T is
because
doing
of this
that.
reform, and one of the more important things is they're not. Hostess is not just giving their employees a big bonus. They said they're also giving them free Twinkies.
Oh wow!
So if the zombie apocalypse happens, those guys are set.
Dude, heck yes.
But I mean, you're right. It does show. These little bonuses and stuff. Some Democrats said, "Well, it's just chump change." Well, it's not chump change to me when I have a few $100 extra in my pocket, or most people. More blue lint.
No, the conversation in chat has definitely gone in an awesome direction. Wow, and I'm not even repeating any of that. It's oh yeah, I'm seeing you guys. I'm seeing you having fun out there. That's awesome. That cracks me up. And yes, I am a subscriber. Oh yes, I'll tell you about it on the next
Squirrel.
break. Oh yeah, I gotta love them ADD moments.
Yeah. But you see where some of the Democrats are saying, "Oh, those people are just going to get chump change." Well, it's not chump change to a single mother of two kids that's barely making it. It's not chump change to her.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the difference between so many things that people the upper echelon take for granted. But I mean, whenever you're one of them people that you have to make that choice. So I go to the grocery store, or do I pay the power bill?
Right.
And this is one of them things that can make that difference to where you don't have to make that choice.
Exactly.
And that's what you're talking about on this. So I mean, that. What?
Are they like off on some bunny trail?
Oh yeah, totally. Matt, yes, Pelosi said it was crumbs. Yeah, so I mean, but
Give me some
and they
crumbs.
were like, yeah, give me some crumbs, but that's one of them things though too. And I use this analogy on it a lot. The proof is in the pudding. The Democrats try to throw that spin on there, and establishment Republicans, they try to throw that spin on there that no, this is really a bad thing. This is going to cause this, that, and the other, and it's going to be, and it's going to be bad. But, when you actually give the people that opportunity to feel the rewards of what comes with this tax cut and these tax credits, they're going to be like, oh yeah, and that's going to make it so much harder for them to rein back these tax cuts, and in the future, so.
Excuse me. And the people that aren't just barely making it, but say are just getting by, you give them some extra cash in their pocket, a lot of them are going to go out and buy more stuff. They're going to, go out to eat maybe, say, once or twice a week more or a month more. What does that do then? Well, that waitress just made more tips. That business just made more money.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to hire more people. It's like a snowball effect.
No, absolutely.
It boosts the economy, even further.
Uh-huh. And yeah, definitely, Mr. Vacker, this is why I am for term limits, and it's one of them things, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's the founding fathers did not feel it necessary to put term limits in there because they really didn't think that people was going to be so blind as to what's going on and so preoccupied with everyday life that they wasn't going to pay attention.
Right.
And it's a shame that we even need to put in their term limits. But I mean, that's, one of the things as far as, that's why they didn't put, what? Nothing. I'm not even reading that. That's like, okay. I know I'm messages behind, but yeah, Mr. Gatton. Back then, it was definitely an honor to be in the office, and it wasn't viewed as a career.
Right.
In fact, they didn't even pay him all that much. They didn't pay them for the job. They reimbursed them for the time that they spent up there. Because they were supposed to go back home. And that's why it wasn't even looked at as a, like a president. Again, I mean, a president isn't a king. He isn't a ruler. He is a servant. You look up what president actually stands for. It stands for it, or what it means. You're a servant. The president isn't the leader of the free nation. We are. He's nothing more than not our adversary. He's nothing more than our.
Sorry.
Oh, what's that word I'm looking for? Ambassador to the to the rest of the world is more or less all he is.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can say.
And you're.
Yes, I am fighting back the laughter.
Sorry.
Gymnast goats? What? You guys are weird. Okay, but anyway.
One point somebody made was, you get these guys that go into Congress and they retire and they come out as millionaires.
Oh yeah,
I mean, off your tax dollar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Well, not only our tax dollar. I mean, they get money from a lot of different sources, but I mean, even still, I understand what you're saying, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not, we're paying so much in taxes for them to, retire the way that they do. I mean, it's just, holy crap. So moving on, the next part I put in here: repeal the individual mandate. For Obamacare, which, I mean, truth be told, that's one of them things that can totally dismantle it and force them into, totally redoing that whole thing. And actually, I guess I am going to backtrack a little bit because I apparently did not order this. Well, I didn't timestamp it better. A business tax rate went from 35% to 21%. That is huge.
Yes.
Businesses completely. Oh yeah, making it to where businesses can compete with other businesses around the world, which is because that's one of the things with our current tax cut or tax bracket, corporate tax rate, we can't do. We can't compete with China. We can't compete with them. It's just some of them other places out there that make stuff. We can't compete with them. Okay. This will increase the average family income by $4,000. Small businesses can deduct $20,000 of their business income. Since the tax cut has passed, over 3 million has gotten bonuses. Apple will invest $350 billion in America. They're opening up a new.
That's with a B.
Yeah, with a B, not with an M. That's with a Bravo, not a Mike,
Right.
or not with a to Tom Tango. Yeah, there we go. So, and then Exxon is going to be investing $50 billion as well, again with a B. So yeah, these numbers are huge, people. These numbers are absolutely huge. I'm looking back at chat again. I'm all over the shop. Yeah, sorry about that. What? Yeah, I'm tongue-tied a little bit. Apologize about that. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different numbers on there. And I mean, granted, I mean, this is coming from the actual, State of the Union address that I did not, fact check those numbers. So I am just going to, throw that out there that, no, I have not fact checked any of these, but it is one of them things that, I had heard about Exxon already. I had heard about Apple, reinvesting into America.
Right.
And I have had, different tax cuts or bonuses from these tax cuts getting thrown in there. So those I have seen as far as the 20% and the average family income going up. I haven't fact checked those two numbers at all, but, it sounds accurate. Definitely sounds accurate. And that's one of them things, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, as far as the, the corporate tax cut goes, I would like them to see that get dropped lower. I would like to see that at 10%. I would like to see that at 0%. Because
Right.
the fact of the matter is, who pays Walmart's corporate taxes?
We do.
You're darn straight. They don't. We do.
Right.
So whenever you're taxing Walmart, all you're doing is throwing an additional tax onto the American people. All you're doing is throwing another tax onto us. That's all you're doing, because they're not going to eat that cost of doing business. That's why they go elsewhere, because they can't, at fair market value, have their things priced in a way to be able to make money off of it, and at a level that the market can bear as far as pricing goes. That's just how things are done with money. They have to be able to make a profit. They have to be able to, their business has to be worthwhile for them to keep doing it.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, I would throw an even lower tax, corporate tax rate than 21%. I would definitely do that. Yes, Walmart's a source for cheap plastic crap. But, yes. So moving on, one of the next thing that he threw in here, and I tell you what, this one was totally awesome because this one had so many people, just mean mugging Trump, so mad, with him talking about "In God We Trust" as the, national motto, with throwing that out there that he, supports the military, he supports the police officers, and he supports, just all the branches, and standing, whenever he was talking about standing for the national anthem,
Right.
Just a wholehearted slam towards, those whom obviously do not stand for the national anthem. That I just thought was, just hilarious. And you can just see just the meanness just coming off of all these people,
Right.
that were just, Nancy Pelosi was totally awesome watching her.
Yeah,
it was
they
great.
showed some still pictures of a lot of them on Facebook, just sitting there scouring, and it's like you can just see the hatred in their eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Machine Radio Show throws in here, just like fuel prices, do you think that the companies are eating the fuel cost to get you your product? No,
Nope.
Absolutely not. No, they are not eating that price. They are passing it down to the consumer. So, I mean, yeah, lower tax rate on that. Moving on. And this was another thing that I tell you what, this one, I can't really say that it hit home with me, but it definitely had a very meaningful meaning words. You know, it meant a lot to me to hear him say this. Okay. And whenever he was talking about, and this was at like right around minute 38, you know, appointing judges who will interpret the Constitution as written, not as they want it to, you know, and not as they want it to be, you know, defending the Second Amendment, protecting religious liberties. And that's one of them things that I want to throw in here, because this is a common misconception about what it means to be a Supreme Court judge. Okay. They are not put there to interpret the Constitution. Read it. They are put there to interpret the laws to make sure that it measures up with the Constitution and doesn't go against the Constitution.
Right.
They do not interpret the Constitution. They interpret the laws. And if it goes against the Constitution, it is an unconstitutional law, and it is now repealed. It is now done. It is now thrown away, thrown aside. The problem is you have too many judges out there that are nothing more than political hacks, and they think that it is their, you know, that it is okay for them or within the purview of their power to interpret the Constitution whenever such wordage and phrases as shall not be infringed goes against their limited worldview.
Ninth Circuit right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The worst offender of them all.
And that's one of them things, to hear Trump say that, totally awesome. You know, just, yeah. Chuck Schumer literally looked possessed. That's funny. Yeah,
that's funny, because that's exactly what I thought when I seen one of his pictures there too. I thought like he's going to start spitting out green soup or something.
Oh, and I seen a Bernie Sanders, and I'm like, dude, he's feeling the burn. He's having a flame about yay high right about now. You know, that was just, oh, that was so funny.
Yeah.
You know, so funny. All right, moving on. The next thing that he was talking about after that, and this is one of the things that I was just like, I was excited to hear him say this as well. He had talked about, you know, giving vets a choice in healthcare. That he was, I don't remember if he said he passed it or was working on passing the VA Accountability Act. You know, he did mention that he removed, you know, 1,500 VA employees who had failed at their jobs, and giving, I kind of missed out on some of the wordage on this, but, you know, more or less allowing it to where people who do not, you know, fulfill their job requirements, that don't do a good job at their job, that they can be removed, be fired, and get somebody else in there who can.
Right.
You know, and that's one of them things that is completely missing right now in, you know, in these different organizations, you know, the VA and the EPA and all of them, you know, that's one of them things that they're missing is accountability.
Exactly.
You know, that's what we want, is accountability, you know. So him doing that puts the power back in the hands of the people.
Right.
You know, and makes them accountable, and that's awesome. You know. Who looked like the penguin from Batman? Schumer? Okay. And of course I am talking about, again, for those whom haven't been viewing for all that long, talking about the Trump's State of the Union address. All right, so moving on. And I've got a few, I want to try to get through the rest of these pretty quick, and then we'll go to a break, and then we'll talk about, you know, the one of them topics that I love, you know, totally. And one of the things that President Trump did as well, he ended, you know, he's working towards ending regulations, and he ended more regulations within his first year than any other, you know, administration in history. Of course, this is another one of them things that I personally did not fact check. However, you know, it's one of them things that's very well known, especially when we're talking about in the political arena, you know, when it comes to rules and regulations.
Right.
It's real easy to write them. It is next to impossible to unwrite them.
Right.
So that makes sense. You know, that is not with, you know, outside the purview of something that is believable as far as I am concerned. You know, if that's not true, hey, call me on it. You know,
that's something major that he's done is.
No, absolutely.
And you've said this many times: is too many regulations. You know, especially with the EPA.
Oh yeah,
and other agencies that have those police powers, that they just screw people's lives, and they're not passed through Congress. They're just, You know,
Yeah, exactly. They are passed through the executive branch, and they carry the weight of law without being passed by Congress as a law.
right?
And it's like, dude, the legislative powers was given, to the legislative branch. It was not given to the executive branch to write in fiat as a regulation, but that's what you have.
Right.
And that is a sad, sad affair that we are living in right now. And that's just, more than anything, I'd like that type of crap to stop. I'll just be honest with you. That's not the way that it was intended to be, but it's one of them things too, though, that, it's a power of legislation as a legislative branch. It's the power of Congress, the power of the House and the Senate. And our founding fathers never thought that Congress would just so willingly give up their authority to the executive branch.
Right.
That's why they never threw such things in there, because, it's like, hey, everybody's power hungry. Everybody wants more power. Nobody wants to just all willy-nilly hand over, willy-nilly, I love that one, just hand over their power all willy-nilly and give it to somebody else. They never thought that would even be an issue. That's why that's one of them things that was never brought into there, So, hold on a second. I am reading a couple comments on here. Oh, you're taking off, sir? Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for viewing. Have a wonderful day. Reading a couple comments on here. Can we talk about 9/11? I am not really going to, maybe another time. I'm not really going to get into that on this episode. That may be something I get into at a later date. But yeah, that is something that, there's a lot of information out there on that, so,
Right.
But yeah, maybe at a later date, just not this one.
Yeah, that'd be a separate show by itself with all the information on that.
And here's another one. Bottom line, they're supposed to work for, protect, and fear us. You've got that right, and Mr. Dyer, and this one, I'm going to kind of bring this in with a little bit of a religious twist to it. We do not live in a country of, kings and kingdoms. Okay. We live in, yeah, exactly. Sure.
Excuse me.
But but yeah, we don't, back then, it was one of them things that was like, you quit coughing. Stop it.
I'm not drinking out of your glass ever again.
Well, good. I don't have the coughs.
Not yet.
No. I don't have the coughs. I'm not going to. But back to what Mr. Roger was saying. We don't live in that type of a government type of a system. Okay, this is not a top to bottom government. This is a bottom to top government. Okay, and that's what we have. This isn't an aspect of, we don't serve the president serves us. Because he works for us. We don't, he just represents our interests on the world stage, and that's what, that's deeply concerned about the coughing. Are you okay, sir?
I promise I don't have the Black Plague.
Are you sure? Because if I get the Black Plague from you, that's what they told you?
Yeah.
And did this doctor have a PhD, or was it?
Well, he had something written on the wall.
He had something written on. You're not sure what it was?
No. It said Acme Factory.
Oh, okay. Well, so what type of animal was that? Yeah. So, you need to go downstairs or something?
I might.
Okay.
I might get a drink.
Yeah, go get a drink, man.
You want a drink? You got a drink.
No, I'm good on drinkage.
I'm going to get a drink.
Okay, go get a drink. All right. He is going to go get a drink and hopefully get his coughing under control. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. Wow. Okay. So, anywho, moving on. A couple of the things he threw in there was um, ended the war on American energy, ending the war on clean coal, and now even being an exporter of energy to the world. With Chrysler moving a plant back into Michigan, Toyota moving a plant into the USA. I don't remember where they said that was going to go, but those are another amazing points that was brought into there. And I'm going to go into talk just kind of touch base a little bit on as far as with clean coal and just clean energy. So it's one of them things that they have done so many advancements with just the with clean coal and clean energy that it's just, not green energy, but clean energy. They've done a lot of advancements in that to where it's not, as political. Yeah, let them hit my vape. That'll help. Yes, that might actually help. But there's been a lot of advancements done with it to where it's not as bad as what some people want to think that it is, or even that most people think that it is. And, kind of touching base on green energy. I mean, I'm all for green energy. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I'm all for it. Wind turbines and solar energy, I'm all for it. But the thing is, it's limited right now. We're not there yet. I mean, it's just a pure and simple fact. We're not there yet. And unless you let it organically grow to the point to where it can replace, all you're doing is hindering the American people. You're just forcing price hikes and everything to just, why do you think we're looking at the power bills that we are? Because of the over-regulations. That's just a fact of the matter. I hate to say it, but it is. But I'm all for green energy. If we can get to where we're no longer doing that, great. But let's let it organically happen. And it will. In time, we'll get there. But it's just, we're not there yet. Sad state of affairs. We're not there yet. Let's see. Moving on into a couple other things. Oh yeah, this one's pretty cool. Let's see. They speedy access to breakthrough cures, generic drugs. Over the last year, the FDA approved more new and generic drugs and medical devices than ever before. And let's see, patients. Oh yeah. This one too. This one's cool. Patients should be, patients with terminal illnesses should be able to try to, just really fight for life and get things taken care of. And, also reducing the price with prescription drugs. And, because a lot of these prescription drugs in other countries are, much, 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 much less. I put that in here because, it's one of them things, fact of the matter, that because of overregulation, different thing like that, yes, things cost here a lot more expensive, and some of that is due to, just the healthcare industry by itself, because the healthcare industries will pay for it. That's why they're so much cheaper, or that's why they're so much more expensive. I mean, it's pretty sad whenever you can go into a place, like let's say, I go in and I say, I have insurance and I'm getting charged one price. And then, somebody else goes in there to get the exact same drug and says, I don't have insurance, and they're paying a completely different price. That just tells me that the price that they're charging is an arbitrary number that doesn't have anything to do with reality, as to where if you go into Walmart and you buy this, you're getting charged one price. And technically speaking, to be charging multiple prices for the exact same product to different people, that's like price gouging. That's illegal. That's wrong. You're not actually supposed to be doing that, but they do that all the time, Another thing he was talking about, fixing trade deals, making it, fair and reciprocal, fixing the, oh wait, no, that actually comes later. Apologize. Another thing that he was talking about was with infrastructure, something that was, is just one of them things, something that was supposed to be fixed more under Obama's administration that wasn't. Another thing that he was talking about on here, which is one of them things that is definitely near and dear to my heart, and I'm sure that there's quite a few other people out there as well. Um, all right, so a gentleman in here just just commented on here that the U.S. should invest in drug research more with the taxes, and even if taxes go up. Um, I in a matter of speaking, I understand what you're saying on that, and I can't say as if I disagree, but there's one aspect on that that I do disagree with. And if you're going to do that, then the American people, well, no, okay, I can't really put it like that. I'm a libertarian at heart. I am a conservative. I believe in small government. And it's one of them things that that I nobody should have to pay for somebody else's. Wow, there's words in here that I'm trying to organize my thoughts. Give me a second. it, as principle, I can't agree with that. So I'm like, yes, okay, my heart goes out to it. Yes, I would like to see that, but as far as being a principled conservative and libertarian, I can't agree to something like that. Because in a matter of speaking, and this is kind of one of them, the fact of the matter is, okay, you look at what happened with Obamacare, okay, to where you had, instead of if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Everything was limited to where it was like you can only have what the government wants you to do, and everything was limited. I don't want the federal government to be limiting other people's imagination and ingenuity, and because the government would never direct them to go in a place that ingenuity, when just allowed to roam free, would go. I mean, you look at the technology age period, okay, the with the internet and just with the phones and everything else. I mean, how quickly did we go? Okay, I'll tell you what. Here you go. I'll put this in simplistic terms. I don't mean it like that. I'm not meaning this negatively, okay? But you look at, the telephone, for instance, okay, versus the computer, okay? The telephone represents what happens when the FCC, when government regulation gets involved to, on the building and the imagination side of it. The telephone has stayed the same since day one. You go to Walmart, you buy a simple telephone that hangs on your wall. I'm not talking about a cell phone. I'm talking about just a regular, everyday telephone. It hasn't changed since, it went from, party lines back in the day, to where you had like an entire block or whatever on the same, the same line, the same number. Everybody had an individual ring. There you go to, your pulse, to where it was like, one, zero, and count back and everything, to a touch tone phone. And then, ingenuity stopped at a touch tone phone.
Right.
But then you go to a computer, and you go from, back in the day, the power button was on the back. You had the 3.5-inch floppy that was huge. You had, Walmart would not house 1 gigabyte worth of data, and now you can get 2 terabytes worth of data on a little bitty hard drive. None of these things would be possible if the government was restricting ingenuity and creativity.
Right.
So in a way, I like your idea with that. I really do. I like your idea with that. But the problem is it is going to stifle creativity to a point to where we wouldn't get anywhere with anything. We wouldn't. That's my fear. I would much rather have the freedom to fail than, who was it that put it like this? I would much rather die on my feet than live on my knees.
Sounds good.
You know what? Just never mind. I'm not even going into there. But another thing that he was talking about was opening vocational schools and putting a bigger, a bigger meaning and bigger whatever it is I'm meaning on, on with learning trades and trade schools and stuff like
Right.
that, getting away from nonsensical degrees and diplomas and whatnot out of colleges, but really giving people real life work type vocational things.
Yeah, I don't know if it was you or somebody else that said, one of the things in that area is there's a lack of mechanics.
Absolutely.
As far as new mechanics going into the trades.
Mm-hmm.
You got all these people that have business management degrees.
Mm-hmm.
But in 20 years, who's going to work on your car?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of them things, where is a degree in, really, go to, Yale.com or Harvard.com or wherever, Berkeley.com. Go there and look at the different degrees that you can get, the PhDs that you can get. And it's like, how many of them are actually degrees that, oh, I'm freezing up again. I apologize. I'm not saying that, increasing taxes is going to stifle creativity. What I'm saying is when the money is coming from government in order to create something, you're going to have government telling you how you can create something.
Right.
That's just the fact of the matter. If the government, if I'm paying for something, I'm telling you what I want and I'm telling you how I want it. How do you want your steak? I'm not saying, hey, surprise me. Actually, I take that back. I would say that.
Yes, you
but
would.
The government is not going to say, surprise me. The government is going to say, I want it like this. I want it this big. I want it this thick. I want it to be this cut. And this is exactly how I want it. I'm not saying that, that the increased taxes is going to stifle creativity. I'm saying that if the government is putting their money into it, they're going to tell you exactly how they want it done. And that is what's going to stifle creativity.
Right.
Not that it's the taxes, that the higher taxes. It's that government's going to be paying for it. And they're going to regulate how it gets done.
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, more regulations.
More regulations, And that's just that's all I'm saying on that, because that is, face it, if you're putting your money into it, you want your hands in it. And you should, you absolutely should. But you stifle creativity by doing that. And that's what's going to happen. That has already happened. We have already seen that type of thing take place. Maybe not necessarily so much in healthcare per se, but in other fields, we have seen that type of thing take place. So, take it for what it is. But, that's my fear. And we've seen that play out. And that's my fear on where that would actually go. So, opening vocational schools. Let's see, prison reform. This is actually one of them things too that I really liked what he said on here. With prison reform to, actually giving inmates a second chance at life. Because, if you've paid your debt to society and if you are actually serious about rejoining society, then you should be given that second chance. If you've paid your debt, you do the crime, you pay your time. If you've paid your debt, you should absolutely have that ability to, get put back into society. One of them things that that happen a lot with some criminals, and granted, I'm not going to say that, with a possibly with a, like a Hannibal Lecter, for instance,
Right.
No, there's no saving that kind of person. And that person wouldn't want to get reinjected back into, society. But with, somebody else, for instance, who, you made a mistake, and everybody makes mistakes. Some people just get caught, We're more apt to hold somebody's past against them than what we are to actually give them a handout and a help up.
Right.
And so to hear a president say, and not just to hear a president say, but to have somebody say it whom you actually feel would do something about it and get it done is pretty awesome. Because that's what, sometimes that's the difference between a repeat offender. is somebody actually getting that help to where they aren't forced to go back to their old ways per se.
Right.
So that was something that I thought was very, very awesome. Very, very awesome about what President Trump said. Yeah, and Roger, and you are an example of that, so, and that's one of them things. And I've known people that have done that. And, it's one of them things that, I mean, I can't speak, I'm speaking out the hind end on this one. I've not been, that's not been a struggle of mine. It really hasn't been. But, at the same time, I have friends who has, and friends who have had a hard time, getting back into society. And it is a struggle because, sometimes, people have that outlook of once a criminal, always a criminal. And that's not the case.
Right.
I mean, it's really not.
If you're a stupid, 17-year-old that made a mistake, are you going to hold that guy accountable when he's 37?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
When he's more informed, when he's more knowledgeable, and maybe just grown up. And of course that depends, like you're alluding to, it depends upon the crime as well. I mean, it wouldn't be straight across the board, but
right, yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of people who've done a lot of stupid things in their early age that, they know better now. They shouldn't have to wear that scarlet letter for the rest of their life.
Yeah, right, the scarlet A, yes,
yeah.
And, I mean, I totally agree with that. I mean, that's one of them things that, we need reform in prison reform. We really do. In more than one aspect, we definitely need that. Not only with just prison reform, just, giving people, the tools necessary to better themselves.
Exactly.
And I mean, granted, a lot of places have that. I mean, you hear all the time about people getting, people getting their GEDs whenever they are, in prison. So, I mean, that is something that they do have, and that's great that they do, but to expand on that would just do us a lot of good as a country, because that's one of them things that a man much wiser than me once said, is you can judge, you can judge a society based off of its prisoners.
Well, what about, and I'm speaking about nonviolent offenders, just nonviolent crimes. Okay, if you're in prison, you get your college degree in prison, I'm going to wipe that offense off your record permanently. I mean, as far as like a nonviolent crime or something that, say, a drug offense or whatever.
Right.
I'll give you the option. If you get your degree and you pass, you graduate, that one offense will be wiped. That will be wiped from your record. And that would be situational too. Depending upon the crime.
Right. Yeah. I can see that on a situational circumstance. I can see that. I can agree with that. Yeah.
That'll push them to get that degree. Push them to better themselves. Give them, like you said, give them the tools. Give them a reason to do it.
Yeah, one of the things that Roger said is that it has a lot to do with maturity, and warehousing people don't work. They've taken most educational programs out, and guys come out just as unprepared as when they went in. And that's and he definitely likes your idea that you had said too. But yeah, I mean, that's actually very, heartbreaking to hear, is that they've actually taken a lot of those programs out. I did not know with the educational programs, I did not know that. I was under the impression that, they've kept a lot of that in. So, thank you for the, the knowledge on that. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that they really need to do and look into and expand on. And I really hope that President Trump can actually do that, get something going, and, take it out of beta into reality.
Right.
Throwing beta in there a lot. It's a great time.
Is that the word of the day?
I want to say yes. That is definitely the word of the day. Beta testing. Gotta love beta testing. Had to take a drink. All right, guys. We are going to go ahead and take actually, you know what? Let me see on my notes real quick. Where am I at? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll cover that when we get back. All right. So quick break. When I return, I want to cover his 5 pillars on immigration reform. This is one of them things. I loved what he said. And I love the scorn in the eyes and the drool from the mouths of the Democrats whenever he was talking about this. And he even got some boos on this one, too.
Wow.
You know, whenever he was first talking about this. Yeah. So, you know, so a few moments. Be right back, guys. Don't go nowheres. Sweet. Wait, hold on. Got to get back to that. And there we go.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'm back.
I believe that our problem has not been that anybody in our country is undertaxed. It's that government is overfed.
And I am back. All right, and let's see here. Yeah, I definitely went into the wrong screen on that. I did not correct that before I went downstairs. Had to run around a little bit. It happens. All right, let's see here. Nope, we're good on that. And all right, getting back to the notes. There we go. All right, so one of the other things that he was talking about was, fixing deadly loopholes that let dangerous gang members from coming into our country, and definitely having an attitude to where he's putting America first and protecting our people first. And, one of the things that he said was Americans are dreamers too. Of which case, I laughed a lot on that. That's one of the things that, just fixing the deadly loopholes, that's one of them things that, when it comes with people crossing the border and the little interview process that they have as far as not letting gang members across, they allow them. It's like, yes, they have written in there the rule of no gang members over and no gang members that can come over, and if you are, then you just get sent back. And yes, they have that in there, but they also have a provision in there, a loophole in there, that all that you have to do is say, I'm not going to be with them anymore. I denounce my membership to so and so gang. And then they let you in.
Yeah.
And if you have...
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah, oh yeah, you got a lot more cord. I bought like, there's 10 feet of cord down here. I know. It just goes on for days. We are perfectly okay.
No, we're not.
I know. Not at all. But, it's one of them things, and I was talking with, I don't know if I was talking with you on air or off air on this one, but, it's one of them things that if you are going to have, off air, just before we got on, that if you are going to have rules with those kind of loopholes, basically make it to where you can allow anybody into the country, why even have standards in the first place?
Right.
Okay? And that's one of them things that immigration, for me, it's one of them, it's a hot topic. It's just, it's one of them things that really, it's a flame that burns about that high. It really burns my hind end. It just is.
And I'm still proud of you on the show that you did a whole thing on that.
Yeah.
Very proud. You didn't cross that line. You kept it in check. And I'm very proud of you on that.
I did my best. I maintained it very well.
Yes.
And I tell you what, I was irate for putting near all that show. I was just, my blood was boiling.
You've seen it in your eyes.
My face was pinkish. I was just, that little vein right there was just a twitching and a bouncing. It was horrible. But excuse me. Getting on this one though, Trump was talking about immigration reform. Okay. And he was talking about, and I hated the usage of his wordage. Usage of wordage. Okay. I didn't like how he did that at all. I didn't like his wordage on it with saying, the 4 pillars, because it just reminded me of, 4 pillars of communism. Communism is a bad thing. We don't like that. So I don't like 4 pillars of immigration reform, but, whatever. Hey, sometimes you just got to be an adult and grow up a little bit. So whatever. So his 4 pillars, as he was stating it, was having a, and this is one of the things he was talking about, was compromising with both sides of the aisles to where everybody gets at least something that they want. And, at first, whenever I heard him say that, I was like, oh, you make me mad, sir. I was not happy with him. But whenever he went on to explain what he was talking about, I was like, yeah, I can get behind this, So let me get into it a little bit. His first pillar he was talking about was a path to citizenship to 1.8 million who came at a young age. Okay. That, talking that they can get, become full citizens over a 12-year period. And of which case I was like, I was growling. Is it, I was angry. I was upset. I was angry, but he, one of the things that he was talking about with that was, with, people whom would meet a standard of education, work requirements, people of good moral character, and it's like, okay, I can stand behind that as long as these are requirements that they actually stick to without throwing all the loopholes into.
Exactly.
And, basically making it to where it is a merit-based system. And of which case, yeah, I'm fine with that. I can get behind that. Do I like the idea of any of them being, really being able to stay? Principle, no. But, in the name of compromise, in the name of, okay, if this is a small bullet I got to bite in order to get the big picture and really get everything that I am needing and everything I'm wanting, as long as the other 4 pillars that he's talking about gets done, I can at least bite the bullet and accept this and get behind it. If it is the requirements are being met, for education, for work requirements, people whom will add something to our society. why did it become bad to be selective on your immigration? When did that become a negative thing?
Right.
I don't get that. I really don't. So, yeah, if it's done like this, I can get behind that. I can bite the bullet. I can accept that. That's fine. But this brings me to number 2. Fully securing the border. And when they're, what they're talking about is, building that border wall on the southern border, hiring more border security, giving them the tools necessary to do their job, the
Right.
orders to do their job, their rules of engagements to do their job, closing loopholes for dangerous criminals, and no more catch and release.
Exactly.
You know?
and you alluded this on the previous show.
Mm-hmm.
All these other things are useless if they're not going to do that one right there.
Exactly. So, again, I'm fine on pillar 1 as long as you give me pillar 2. You close the loopholes. You don't do the catch and release. You build that wall. You hire the security agents to man it. You give them the tools that they need to do their job. You give them the rules of engagement that allows them to do their job. And I am fine with that. Pillar number 3. This one is also huge. It ends the visa lottery.
Right.
Woo freaking who. That's awesome. It changes it to a merit-based immigration system, admits people whom are skilled, who want to work, who want to contribute to our society, and who love and respect our country. That's awesome. If that's the type of people whom we are bringing into our country, yes, that's what we want. That is what is going to help our society. It's going to prop up American business, American workers, and they are not going to be a drain on our society. Because let's face it, man. We're living in a welfare state.
Right.
We have too many of our own people in need to really be, bring us your poor, bring us your, downtrodden. Yeah, my heart goes out to them. But at the same time, we're sick too. A doctor who's sick isn't allowed to perform surgery on somebody.
At least you hope not.
No, they're not. They are, because they are going to contaminate it. They're going to take that virus directly into the system, and you're going to kill somebody. So no, they don't allow a sick doctor to operate on somebody. That is a lawsuit waiting to happen. When you yourself are sick the way Americans are sick and Americans are downtrodden, you can't be, you just can't do that. My heart goes out to them. But at the same time, we've got to fix our own.
Right.
And this isn't being a nationalist. This is just, we've got to do it for us. And we really do. Once we're able to do that, once we're able to take care of our own, once we're able to, take care of our people in need, and, and this isn't even the hand of the government. This is the hand of the people, and this is another thing. You give people back more of their money, then they will be able to do the charitable contributions necessary in order to do this.
Right.
Because before there was a time, if you needed your, if your lights were about to go off, where did you go? You didn't go to government, you went to church. You went to those places where like-minded people came together and you said, hey, I need help. And whenever you give people back more of the money that they have earned, it's not the government's money to take, it's our money to keep. And if you allow people to keep that, people will be more charitable. People want to be charitable.
Right.
So, that's just one of them things. All right, moving on. The 4th pillar is ending chain migration. And this is another huge one. All right. The single immigrant right now can bring relatively an unlimited number of distant relatives. So one of the things that this is going to do is it will allow, it is going to focus to the immediate family, spouses, children, and that is it as far as chain migration goes. That is it. About stinking time. So yeah, as far as their immigration reform goes, if these are the guidelines that they stick to, if this is actually what they do and not throw in 20 billion, pages worth of loopholes, I can stand behind this and I will be perfectly fine with 1.8 million people, who meet those requirements becoming citizens over the next 12 years. I'm cool with that.
Right.
You give me this, you give me what we have been crying for the last couple decades. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Totally okay with that. So,
securing the wall, the security part of it is, for me, key.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, it sounds good on paper, but if you're not going to secure the border, it's meaningless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So we've got just a couple more things to touch base on in here, and then we're actually pretty well done. So the next thing that he talked about, and this was, I just punched the desk for some stupid reason, fully funding the military to modernize and rebuild our nuclear weapons as a deterrent against future strikes. That's one of the things that other presidents has said, and Tony Stark has said this, and I am a big advocate of what Tony Stark does, peace through strength.
Right.
A good weapon isn't, okay, wait, how should I put this? Okay, well, all right, we've done this already, so I'll just go ahead and say it. The best weapon isn't the weapon that you have and don't have to fire. It's the weapon you only have to fire once, and then nobody wants to mess with you again. Peace through strength. Tony Stark. Amazing man. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm done. Anywho. Let's see. Hold on, I'm reading a couple comments right quick. It says Dems won't budge on immigration, so expect to shut down on the 12th. Yeah, that's a sad thing. It really is. I'm hoping that they don't. I really do hope that they're able to compromise. I really do, because it's one of them things that, and this is, and I'm sorry to say it, but that the Republicans more so than the Democrats have been crapped on so many times. Going back to the Reagan era, that Reagan agreed to amnesty in the understanding that we was going to get a wall, border security. And we didn't, even back then, we didn't get that. Okay. It was a compromise that was made, but the Democrats were unwilling to follow through and actually they backed out of their word. They reneged on their word, and they did not give what they promised they was going to give. That's what happened. So, based off of principle, and I hate throwing this in there, but it's just the way that it is, because of that, I'm very leery on, because, hey, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Right.
So, you go to that far, you go that direction of, okay, we've already done the whole compromise thing. Now we don't need another bill. We don't need to compromise on another bill. The only thing, technically speaking, Republicans need to do is throw into the budget, if they could ever agree on a freaking budget, but throw into the budget the price that was agreed to for the budget wall.
Right.
We don't need to debate on this any more than that, because the bill has already been passed. The law has already been written. It's already a done deal. All they need to do is throw it into the budget to actually do it. You're taking 2 steps back to take 1 step forward. No need to do that. But hey, it is what it is. Hopefully we can get this done as Obama sees it, which would be really cool. The next one, let's see. We should. Yes, Wayne guy, definitely amazing point. I'm going to go ahead and read this. I really believe that we should fight for our right to own our guns, that they will take them away one day. I will always stand by what I believe in, my rights, and you know what? Absolutely. I myself am a gun advocate. I am a root tootin', camo wearing, whatever. I am, I myself am a gun owner. Love my guns. Guns are, it's one of them things that it's what separates us from a dictatorship. It is, I very much stand with you on that one. You know, one of them things that I'm as somebody whom can look back through the fabric of time and read history and see what happened. It's the complacency. Yeah, it's a sad thing, but I pray that it's not. But at some point in time, I think it will be the downfall of the USA as far as, losing, because, okay, let's face it, guys. Okay, let's put it like this. Back to my original thought, which will take me to where I'm going. Yeah, I said that right. But okay, if you look at the Constitution and how it was written, that's one of them things that, people like to say time and time again is, name one right that we have lost. It's like, okay, I can't choose my doctor. The Commerce Clause gives me the right to purchase insurance across state lines, but I can't. The 10th Amendment gives my state the right, and my town the right, and my municipality the right to say that Common Core is BS. But I don't have that. That is a right that has been taken away from me. Right. And there's so many more. I can continue, but they're really in so many subtle, ruthless ways that, yes, throughout the years, our rights has been taken away from us. Okay?
Piece by piece. Piece
by piece, bit by bit.
They don't always come through the front door to take it. They go through the back door.
You got that right.
And that goes exactly back to what we talked about earlier, regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at the guns. They're going to regulate things to death. They're not. At some point, they might come and get your guns, but between now and then, they're going to regulate things to death.
Go to California with a magazine that has one more round in it than what you're supposed to have. Really? You can go, okay, now this isn't, I'm not bringing this into the foreground of the topic of conversation, but, let's just say you're in a state that doesn't have same-sex, marriage. And you can go to Las Vegas, Nevada, and you can get married as a gay couple by the king himself, by Elvis freaking Presley. And then you go back to that state that doesn't honor that. Guess what? They have to. Why don't they have to honor, your FOID card? Why don't they have to do that? Really, sir? All right, you know what? I don't want to. Let's put it this way. During the school, not the school shooting, this was the shooting that was done during the release of the the second Batman movie. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How many did he go into a theater that said it was okay to have guns, or did he go to a gun-free zone? The criminal went to a gun-free zone. Just letting you know. The criminal went to a gun-free zone, and that is how so many people died. He passed 3 or 4 theaters that did not have a sign on their door that said guns prohibited.
Right.
Okay? He passed 4 to get the one that he knew it would be a turkey shoot.
Exactly.
Guns save lives.
And you've heard me say this before about those dang stickers.
Mm-hmm.
They're the number one stupidest thing I've ever seen them come up with.
Because guns don't care about, what's a criminal going to do? Guns don't care. You be angry all you want to, but that doesn't change the truth. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. Okay?
I'll say it again. If I'm a nut job, that's exactly what I'm going to look for, is a place that I know for certain nobody else is going to carry.
Yeah, because, what am I going to do as a criminal? I walk up to there, I intend on doing harm and causing mass destruction. Guns prohibited. Oh, crap.
Right.
Dadgummit, I can't rob this place because they have a gun sign, a sticker on their door that says, nope, I can't do that. Okay, fine.
I'm going to go home. Yeah.
I guess I'll go back home. You know, you go to school wishing to do harm, and then you see that sign that says guns prohibited. Oh, dadgummit, man, I gotta take my gun back home.
Right.
You know, and yes, you're right. I mean, I am angry because people should not be dying because of ignorance. You know, because okay, let's put it this way. You know, you have so many people out there that are like, oh, don't. With the the illegal immigrants that have done the bad things and killed those people and done the bad things. Okay, you shouldn't condemn the many for the actions of the few. So why is it that when it comes to people who own guns, you want to condemn the many for the actions of the few? You know, I mean, there's this type of thing. It goes both ways. You know, it really does, and it's just. You know, and if you're going to uphold that type of logic that people do when it comes to guns, you can't pick and choose. And the fact of the matter is, more killings have been done with cars than with guns. More killings have been done with knives than with guns. You know, I don't know why you don't have school shootings in the UK. I'm sure at some point in time they have had. But I do know this. Mexicans took away the guns from its citizens, and the only people that have guns are the criminals, and the citizens are living in fear every single day because they do not have the right to protect themselves. That's a fact.
And going back to
absolute fact. Explain that one to me.
Go back to the common fact. Chicago.
Hold on. Un momento, por favor.
Okay.
So if Gracias, senor. So yeah, I'm not a very angry man. Absolutely not. But answer me that one though. I mean, if gun control works, then why is there still crime down in Mexico? Why is that? Answer me that question. So, but anyway, what was your point, sir?
Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the strictest gun laws in this nation, and they have the highest murder rate
with guns. Yeah.
With guns, yeah, absolutely. Strictest gun control. Sweeping general statements. Yeah, whatever.
No, they're called facts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, exactly. You can't, and that's one of the things, and I had this conversation with somebody a while back ago, and I'm pretty sure I included you into this one. You can't, you can have your own opinion, and that's fine.
Right.
We are a free people. This is a free country. You are entitled to your opinions, but you cannot pick and choose which facts you are going to, you can have your own opinion. You can't have your own facts.
Right.
Facts are facts. They're just that, they really are. So moving on, fully funded military, modernized, peace restraint. Yep. Yes. You know what? This actually goes to what the gentleman earlier was talking about, that yes, he wants that magical moment when we can eliminate all nuclear weapons, eliminate all weapons of mass destruction. And yes, that would be an amazing world that I would love to live in. However, unfortunately, right now, we're just not there yet. Yep. And this next one going into, and this again, this is one of them things that is the bias of our, it's the bias of mainstream media. That they have, with the coalition to defeat ISIS, that it has, liberated different places that was previously held by ISIS. And, so, I mean, yeah, that's one of them things that because the mainstream media just wants to do nothing more than, just really only talk about the negative aspects of how they feel Trump is doing. And they're not talking about and discussing what good he has done. That's one of them things that is also very, it's just, thank you, CNN. And another thing that he was talking about here, which was, another, I guess you can say, a slap in the face to, Obama. And that is with him keeping Guantanamo Bay, Cuba open. no longer doing, no longer doing the catch and release, I guess, of different terrorists. He has changing the rules of engagement to again allow our troops to actually do the job that we are sending them over there to do. And another thing that he is saying, that he is no longer going to be telling our enemies our plans, which, yes, holy crap, dadgummit, that's what we need. That's one of them things that some other administrations have done. They, every step of what we're doing, tell them what's going on. And it's like, no, you can't do that. You just can't tell the enemy every single thing that, you're going to be doing and then expect it to be a surprise,
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely. Another thing that he was talking about, and I thought this was awesome too, and it was very, very cool that it panned to Nikki Haley whenever he was talking about this.
Love that girl.
Oh, yeah, she is. Dude, I tell you what, she's an amazing woman. She's an amazing woman. She really is. And I love listening to that woman talk. I really do. How she just breaks it down and just, putting the UN in their place anytime she talks to them. It's very, very cool, But one of the things that he was talking about was making it to where American money serves American interests.
Right.
Okay. And one of the things that he was talking about in that discussion was with Jerusalem, with us recognizing Jerusalem as the capital city of Israel, and they didn't like it. And it's like, okay, fine. If you don't like it, and if you're not going to support the United States, and if you're not going to support U.S. interests, then our money is not going to go to you. Our money is going to support our interests, not to support interests that do not support us.
Exactly.
And he is cutting financial support to those countries. I completely agree with that, because we shouldn't be sending money to people whom want to kill us, whom do not agree with us, and whom do not, it's a charitable contribution. You're not going to give charity to a drug dealer. You're not going to give charity to a terrorist organization. That makes you just as accountable for their actions as it would if you were doing it yourself.
Right.
And it's the fact of the matter, And the last point that I have in here is addressing the fundamental flaws in the Iran nuclear deal, and with the strong sanctions that he is wanting to impose on North Korea and also Cuba. So that pretty well concludes everything that I had read, and holy crap, that was a lot of things on there. It really, really was.
Watch out after the Olympics. I heard him do a little spill the other day about Trump saying, well, we'll see how things go during, basically alluding to the fact he was after the Olympics. I think that's a keystone right there.
I'm actually interested in one of the things that I had heard, and that was that North Korea and South Korea is going to be competing under the same banner.
Yes, I heard that too.
And that's one of them things that I was surprised that South Korea was willing to do that. For the simple fact is, let's face it, the North Koreans do not believe in a South Korea and North Korea. To them, it is one unified Korea.
Right.
That's what they want. That's what they are working towards. They do not agree with the North and South Korea. They really do not. They are looking for, and they are wanting, and they are promoting, and they are wanting to do a unified Korea. So, absolutely,
Covered a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I am going to, I don't know.
Well, 3 more hours?
No, you're nuts. You are absolutely nuts. Well, we're actually pushing 2 hours, so that's a pretty good show. Of course, we one of the things I was wanting to touch base on was the FISA report, but it's just the show's already pushing 2 hours. I really don't want to go any more than that. Trying to keep it simple. What are you doing? Trying to keep it simple. Sorry about that. ADD gets me sidetracked sometimes. But I can possibly revisit the show tomorrow to kind of throw that in there, maybe put a couple other things in there as well. Because I mean, like, there's so much stuff has, gone on over the past week that, past 2 weeks really, that, it bears mention, a notable mention, I guess, what you can say. And, definitely dove a little bit deeper into, the State of the Union address. But I tell you what, I mean, this was one of them things that, and look, I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched State of the Union a lot. I've picked up, I've heard sound bites, quite a few years. But as far as actually sitting down and listening to the whole speech, I can't say as if I've ever done that. I've watched quite a few different, sound bites from quite a few different, State of the Unions, quite a few different years, but this is the first time that I haven't had to, take a motion sickness pill beforehand because
Right.
I was, just queasy and his stomach was turning, and it was like, are you kidding me? I mean, people cheering for, their freedoms being eroded. And it's like, wow, how can you cheer that? Do
Kinda
you
like
understand
episode
what
3
he's
of Star
talking
Wars.
about? Right? Right? hmm I like how you tied that in there. That was very, very awesome, sir.
Yeah, you like
I,
that?
I like that tie-in. Episode 3 of Star Wars. We are cheering a dictator rule.
We are going to build a new empire.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Awesome series, Star Wars. Very, goes along with what goes on in the real world today if you pay attention to it.
One of the things I like about Star Wars is it gives you it's, I was actually listening to something. Chris Jericho, wrestler. He has a podcast out. And he's actually had it for like 4 or 5 years, something like that, maybe longer. I'm not completely sure. Him and Stone Cold Steve Austin both. But Jericho's is, what the heck is the name of his podcast? I don't remember. But I was listening to him do an interview with Will Wheaton. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that they were talking about, and I tell you what, say what you want to about Chris Jericho and about different wrestlers and what they do, but they, you get outside the square circle and you actually see what these guys do in the society and, what they do with, the Children's Miracle Network and,
Right.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation and all those different things. You see how they are actually involved in what they do. It'll give you an entirely different perspective. Like, granted, I'm not a big fan of wrestling, but I have a tremendous and deep respect for what them guys do. I really do. And I mean, it's amazing what they do, what they offer people and just how they try, in so many different ways to, just make somebody's dreams come true, and it's really amazing. Sid Vicious, one of the most epic bad guys ever in wrestling history, biggest teddy bear you'll ever see when it comes to them kids, and he did a lot of things for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He really did. John Cena's another one, but, listening to his show, and he does a very good podcast, very good interviews and whatnot. I've listened to, a few of them, but he was doing, a discussion with Will Wheaton. And, one of the discussions that he was talking about was, the difference between, because you got Trekkies and you got Star Wars people,
Right.
And it's like, it's one of them things. It's like, Beatles and Elvis, you can't be both, it's a one or the other kind of thing. And it was the difference between the two. And he broke it down in a way that it was like, wow, that is very simplified on, just a fundamental difference between the two, because it's like Star Wars is rooted in, basically, lack of better terms, magic. It is the time honored fight between good and evil. And it's black and white, Jedi and Sith. It is what it is, and it is fundamentally based in magic, the Force, magic, but you also have Star Trek, which is rooted in science. yes, it's science fiction, but it is still rooted in science.
Right.
Hiccups are a horrible thing, really are. You can't hear them. I'm making them silent. Anywho, but yeah, fundamental difference. And I was like, I hadn't actually broke it down like that. And I thought that was interesting. Thought I'd share that with you. Yeah. I am a strange individual.
Oh, if they only knew.
Oh, man. I was, I wanted to say I was in high school. I have no idea what, junior, senior. I have no idea. I wanted to say I was in high school, though, and I'm sitting on the couch in the living room, having a conversation with myself, watching TV, something was on the TV and I was watching it. And I'm just having a conversation with myself. I'm like, if I scare myself the way I do, I would hate to know what I do to other people. And my dad just out of nowhere, just butted into my conversation without any provocation, without any, any additional warning, without any invitation, just stuck his nose right into my business and was just like, you have no idea. Right. I'm just like, wow. Thanks, Dad. Hey, I am your son. I get this from you. I learned it from watching you. So yeah.
I wish I had to. I mean, some of the things we've done over the years, it may be a good thing, may not be. But I wish I had the body camera from day one.
Oh, good grief,
to record some things. And I talked about this on a show before. Is when we walked into a Quaker Steak and Lube. You walked in there for the first time. I wish I had that on video. I mean, you were like a deer in the headlights. God. You're like, your eyes just got like huge.
Dude,
and you're like,
I was a kid in a candy shop. I mean, I was just like, walking into Charlie's chocolate, walking into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory for the first time. I'm just like
sensory overload.
Oh yeah, dude, it was, man.
I wish I had that on video. That's so awesome.
I worked with a guy and he was like, at first did not believe me on some of the stupid stories that I was telling. Cause it's like, like Attack of the Loose Deuce, I mean, who in their right mind would believe that story? But yeah, absolutely. It really happened, and I mean,
or how about a trip to Burger King after church?
Oh God.
We won't go too further into that, but
Well, heck, the trip we took to, was that Quaker Steak and Lube the hot wing challenge thing? Was that Quaker Steak and Lube?
That was more during the day, but yeah.
Yeah, that was during the day. That was a totally different, time that we went. But yeah, I mean, just that one. But I mean, he was like, there's no way that you are the way that you are and interact with people and talk with people that way, until it was like, over the phone talking with somebody. And he was like, wow, you really are that crazy. It's like, yeah, really am that stupid. I mean, there's a fine line between crazy and stupid. And I flirt with it a lot,
Yeah.
I really do. I'll be honest. I totally flirt with that line.
Fun times though.
Yeah. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. I really have.
Keeps it interesting.
Oh, it does. It really does.
I haven't gone to jail yet.
Thank God. And that, I tell you what, I've gone close a couple times. There was one time in particular, I was coming back from a Godsmack concert and, got pulled over. And, the guy, was, he looked at me, and at the time I had the whiteout contact lenses. It changes, it took out the color of my eye, made the whole thing white. I still had it, people. But, whiteouts, crazy eyes, very awesome. A little on the expensive side, but I mean, hey, they're good for a year, so whatever. Anyway, got pulled over, and, we're outside of our vehicle, and the cop looks at me, and he's like, dude, he's like, you know what? You look like you're on crack. And I'm like, I looked at him, I kind of, tweaked my eyebrows a little bit, and I'm like, dude, does this look like a crack whore body? Just using my belly as emphasis here. And it's like, pot, okay, because I got the munchies. I'm hungry. I'm a fat kid.
Right.
But, crack, no. And, I give this cop props because he kept a straight face, no smile, No, nothing, no smile in his eyeball. Or his other eyeball, for that matter. I mean, he was just straight face, just cool, calm, collected. There he was. His partner, on the other hand, did not do near as good of a job. I mean, he's like bent over the car. He had to turn away. You know, if it wasn't for his car being there, he would have fell over into the ditch. It was a great time. He's laughing his ass off, just needless to say. You know, I thought it was great. I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard. You know, but, you know, the first cop he did not see the humor in it near as bad as I did. I mean, dude, I got pulled over just a few nights ago. All right. I'm over to Buddy's house and we got to go pick up somebody and do some stuff, you know? So I'm running through town, you know, and I'm like, he's like, dude, drive my car. He's like, yeah, go ahead, drive my car. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll drive your car. So I get in his car, you know, and it's a Ford Fusion. Ford Fusion? We'll go with the Ford Fusion. Sure. It was a Ford Fusion. And I'm in that, I'm driving that, and I'm like, you know, like 10 and 2. I'm like, you know, man, I'm like behaving. He's like, yeah, I'm kind of surprised about this. I'm like, right? And I'm like, just womp, you know, get on it just a little bit. Not enough to do anything, not enough to squeal any tires, just enough to say, ta-da, I'm here. And that was it, you know. And then, bam, a block in front of me, freaking cop. I'm like, crap. You know, but I'm like, you know what, fine. It's fine. You know, I didn't actually do anything illegal. You know, I didn't squeal the tires. I wasn't doing improper lane usage. I didn't actually break the law. I didn't even bend it a little bit. All I did was go, you know, that's it. That's all I did. And I'm just like, you know, I won't look at him and he can't see me, because that's how it is when you're like this many years old, you know, too. It's, you know, you don't, if I can't see him, he can't see me. So that's what I'm like, you know, yeah, sure. But, you know, unfortunately, the guy whose car I was driving was sitting in the passenger seat, and the passenger seat, words blend together, come to make one. But he was in the passenger seat, and he just made eye contact with him on the way by. So, I mean, he just totally just canceled out my you can't see me. So he's seen him, you know, and I mean, it was just, it was freaking hilarious. It was amazing. You know, so he does that whole turn around, and I, you know, got to the street I was turning, and I got within a block of my destination. Whoop, whoop. So I pull over, you know, and I'm just, you know, I'm like, you know, I get my wallet out, and I put my wallet like between my first and second fingers, and I grab, you know, he hands me the insurance card. I put that right there, turn on the dome light. I'm sitting there 10 and 2, window down. There you go. I'm ready. Just bam, right there, you know. And then this guy that I'm pointing at right here, you know, me, yeah, I get a song playing in my head.
Uh-oh.
Before I knew it, my words are coming out of my mouth. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come?
No.
And they say that that's a bad thing. You're not supposed to. Cops really don't have that kind of a sense of humor. Apparently, he was like standing back behind us listening to us for quite some time before he finally walked up to the window. And he's like, is that for me? I'm like, yeah, that's for you. You can have this information, officer. And I'm like, good morning. And he's like, it's evening. And I'm like, oh, shit. You know, and
Oh, boy.
yeah, apparently that actually came out of my mouth. I didn't mean for it to. I was told later that it did. I'm like, oops. Cop's like, what, you don't know what time it is? I'm like, yeah, I know what time it is. It's 2012. Looking at my watch. I'm like, of course I know what time it is. What idiot doesn't know what time it is? So so I mean, he did not have near the, you know, the hilarity that I did. But come to find out, he pulled us over for our headlights because he has these halos in there. And he's like, you know, hey, you're not supposed to have green headlights on. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, 1 second. And I look over at the guy who owns the car. I look over at him. I'm like, hey, you're not supposed to have green headlights on. And the cop's like, oh, this is his car? I'm like, oh, yeah, this is his car, you know? So he leans over and he talks to him. And I'm like, yeah, I was just test driving it, you know? And he's like, oh, so you're thinking about getting it? I'm like, well, not anymore. Like, this thing is a cop magnet. I mean, I get pulled over the first time driving it. No, I don't want this one. I'm not doing this whole green headlight thing. And he just... I'm laughing my ass off. This is funny stuff. The cop does not see near the humor in it that I did. Nor did anybody else. I mean, everybody else in the car thought it was freaking hilarious, but the cop just, you know, he didn't take his humor pill that day.
Oh.
He took the other one. So, I mean, it was a bad deal. I mean, I didn't get arrested. I didn't get pulled over. I didn't get a ticket. He just checked my stuff out, let me go. You know, he's just like pointing at the guy that he's just fixed that. And he's hither, you know, of course he had 4 more in the truck, and I thought I was going to offer them to him. It's like, hey, yeah, you like those? We got more in the glove boxes. You can have some if you want them. You know, I mean, that was my fix for that. You know, hey, give them to the cop and make the cop put them on, and now they're no longer illegal.
All right.
I don't think it works like that.
No.
But, you know, hey, it was worth a shot. Well, guys, that concludes the show. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for commenting and being part of the show. I really do appreciate it. And, next week or within the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be having this, Skynet will be complete, will be built. And the issues that I ran into tonight will not be a factor. So your patience is greatly appreciated. I thank you very much. And y'all have a wonderful day. Good night. Sleep tight. And if the bed bugs bite them, by golly, bite them back. Yes. Bite them suckers back. Wait. Hold on. You know what? I really screwed that up.
Oh, no.
I mean, not bad. But I was supposed to have that ready before I did that. So, all right. So imagine I'm saying what I said earlier about the bed bugs and stuff right now. You know, insert bed bug talk right here.
I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.